welcome to Sunrise Serenity, a 20-minute yoga flow to help you start your day on the right note. Remember, this is time that you've carved out for yourself, so focus only on what's happening on the mat, in your mind and in your body. The hands can be placed on the knees or in the lap, anywhere you feel comfortable. And when you're ready, let's take a deep inhale. And exhale, letting go of any tension you're holding in your body. Relax the muscles. And again, let's go for a deep inhale. And exhale. Bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra, a prayer position at the heart. And go ahead and set an intention for not only this practice, but for the day ahead. How do you want it to look and how do you want to feel? Inhale and exhale. Consider it already done. Take a quick bow of gratitude towards yourself and this practice, and let's dive in and go ahead and place our right arm on the mat to the right hand side and lift the left arm overhead and give ourselves a good side stretch. Inhale. Exhale. And again on the left side, stretching that right arm over the head, taking a good inhale and exhale, come back to center. Lovely. Now placing your left hand on the right knee, we're going to give ourselves a gentle twist to the right hand side, look back toward the back of the mat. Inhale and exhale, and come back to center and go for the other side. Right hand on the left knee and twist. Inhale, exhale. Perfect, and come back to center. Now please go ahead and meet me in tabletop position. Knees should be hip width apart and hands and arms directly under the shoulders with fingers spread widely. We're going to go for some cat-cows now. So inhale, cow pose, drop the belly, lift the head, and exhale, round the back, lift the navel towards the spine for a cat pose. We're going to continue for this, taking a few cat-cows, inhaling as you drop the belly and exhaling as you lift it. A few more. Exhale as you round. Inhale as you drop the belly. Now we're just going to take some free movement here. Do whatever you feel your body needs. Roll the hips, roll the wrists. Maybe come up onto the toes if you feel you need a stretch there. Move parts of the body you feel have tension or that you need to release. And once you feel relaxed and content, come back to tabletop. Now let's go for an extended child's pose. The knees will be as wide as the mat and the hands will be stretched out in front of you towards the top of the mat. The hands and head can come flat to the mat, or if you want an extra stretch, come up onto the fingertips, holding the head, elbows and shoulders off the mat for the extra stretch. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Now let's go for a full body stretch, so meet me back in tabletop position. With an inhale, lift the right leg towards the back of the mat and the left hand towards the front of the mat. Stretch the body out here, and then we're going to exhale and round the spine, pulling the leg and the arm in towards the center. We're going to do this a few times, exhaling. Inhale as you stretch out. Exhale as you pull everything in. and meet me back in tabletop position, and we're going to go for the other side. So lifting the left leg towards the back of the mat and the right hand towards the front. With an exhale, bend, and inhale, stretch it out. Do a few of these. This should be working your core, your abs, your glutes, warming up the arms and the wrists. And when you feel like the body is even, come back to tabletop position and have another little wiggle out. Move through the hips and through the shoulders. And now we're going to go for our first downward dog. Curl the toes under. Stretch the hands out a little bit further in front of you. And slowly lift the hips up. Reaching the tailbone towards the ceiling. Your back should be in a straight line. Don't arch in the upper back. Just keep it all lifted and straight. Take an inhale and we're just going to paddle out the feet a little bit, lifting the left and right. Just get that bend in both of the legs. And when you feel ready, come to a still position in down dog and take a deep inhale and exhale. Another deep inhale and exhale. We're going to slowly walk towards the top of the mat and we'll come into ragdoll position. With a slight bend in the knees, hang the head forward, interlock the hands on opposite elbows, and we'll just slowly move from side to side. This should feel really good on the lower back and release any tension in the muscles that you've been holding. And now let's slowly go ahead and roll the body up, taking a deep inhale and exhale to come up to mountain pose. So standing at the top of the mat, palms facing forward by your sides. And let's go for some side stretches. Go ahead and bring your left foot behind the right leg on the mat. And with your right hand, take a hold of the left wrist and just pull it over to the right hand side. Take a deep inhale as you feel that good side stretch. And exhale, come back to center. Let's go for the other side, bringing that right foot behind the left and pulling the arm over to the left hand side. Inhale and exhale. Now let's get the blood pumping with some sun salutations. Taking an inhale, raise the hands above the head, palms can come to touch. And with an exhale, bend forward, bringing the hands to the mat or the shins. And with an inhale, come to a halfway lift, lifting the head. Next, your choice, either step or jump back to meet me in a low plank and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Placing the palms on the mat alongside the shoulders, go for a baby cobra, lifting the head, neck and shoulders off the mat. Now taking an inhale, go ahead and push yourself back up and meet me in a downward dog. Raising the tailbone towards the ceiling, either keeping a bend in the knees or straightening the legs. Keep a small micro bend in the elbows and keep the fingers spread wide to give you that extra support. Now taking an inhale, let's jump or step to the top of the mat. Meet me in a halfway lift, lifting the head, and with an exhale, bend completely forward to a forward fold. Now raise the hands above the head with an inhale, and exhale, drop the hands. Second sun salutation A, let's go. Hands above the head with an inhale, exhale, bend forward to a forward fold. Inhale, come to a halfway lift, raising the head. Now jump or step back Come to a high plank or low plank and lower completely to the mat. Let's go for another baby cobra. Palms by your side on the mat, lifting the head and shoulders off the mat, and push yourself up back to downward dog. Keeping that tailbone lifted. You can have a micro bend in the elbows and the knees if you need it. Focus on your breathing here. Take a good inhale and exhale. Now jump or step to the top of the mat and come back to standing, raising the hands above the head, and with an exhale dropping the hands. Now let's go for Sun Salutation B. Come to chair pose, so with a slight bend in the knees, back straight and arms out in front of you. Now let's drop down to a forward fold and come back up to a halfway lift, lifting the head. Jump or step back to a high plank, drop down to a low plank, and you can come to a baby cobra, full cobra or upward dog, whatever is in your practice. Now let's meet back again in downward dog, tailbone lifted, palms and fingers spread wide. Now let's lift the right foot to the top of the mat and come to warrior one. Lift the hands above the head, keeping the hips square towards the front of the mat. Drop the palms either side of the right foot, come back to a high plank and drop down, go back to cobra or up dog, whatever is in your practice. And with an exhale, come back to downward dog. Now let's go for the other side. With an inhale, lift the left foot to meet in between the palms at the top of the mat. Lift the arms above the head and keep the hips square. Now drop those palms back down. We're going to go back to high plank and lower to go for that cobra or up dog, whichever you'd prefer. With an exhale, come back to downward dog. Now take a minute to take an inhale here. This is a resting posture. Just get your breath back. And step or jump to the top of the mat when you feel ready to. Take that halfway lift and then bend completely forward into that forward fold. Now let's meet again in chair pose before coming back to standing. Drop the palms to the sides. Now let's take an inhale and go again. Meet me in chair pose, bend in the knees, and drop down to that forward fold. Come back to halfway lift, lifting the head, and jump or step back to a high plank and lower down to the mat. Cobra or up dog. Push yourself up to down dog. Take a minute to take a good inhale and exhale. Let it all go. When you're ready, take that right foot between the palms, come back to warrior one, arms above the head, square hips to the front of the mat. Drop the palms down, back to high plank, lower down, come to cobra or up dog, and push yourself back up to down dog. Now take that left foot in between the palms at the top of the mat, back to warrior one, arms lifted above the head, hips square, and exhale, drop to that high plank, lower down, and inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, come to down dog, and take a lovely refreshing inhale and exhale. Step or jump to the top of the mat. Come to halfway lift and then bend forward completely to forward fold. Now we're going to go ahead and meet in chair pose and come back to standing. Take a good inhale and exhale. Now widen the feet to the edge of the mat, and we're going to slowly drop down to a yogi squat, goblet pose. You can take a few turns and twists here just to get those hips moving, or you can stay still if that feels better. Push the elbows into the knees if you can. Palms can come together to give you extra stability. It's all about widening those hips. And slowly come back. You can take a seat on the mat. And we're going to go ahead and lie down. We're going to take some twists. So with the left palm, grab a hold of the right knee and pull it across the body to the left hand side. Taking the right palm, lay it flat on the floor on the right hand side of your mat and look over to the right hand. This should give you a lovely stretch. Take an inhale and exhale. Now slowly come back to center and we're going to go for the other side. So taking that right hand to the left knee, pull it over to the right hand side and take that left hand to the left side and look at the left hand. Inhale and exhale. Let go of any tension you're holding. And now you can come to put your hands alongside of you. Widen the feet and just let them flop out to the side. And this pose is called Shavasana and it is your resting posture. It's normally how we close a sequence in yoga, and it's your time to really take a minute to relax the body after the movement we've just done. So I'm going to give you a few minutes here. Focus on the breath, taking lovely deep inhales and exhale. Keep that going with the breath, taking a minute or two to focus purely on this moment. Remembering to inhale and exhale. Completely relax the body. Focus on this very moment. Calm the mind. Now very slowly bring your awareness back to your physical body. Start to wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, maybe move the wrists and the hands, the ankles. And when you feel ready to, very slowly, we're going to turn onto our right hand side. Use the arm as a pillow with bent knees. Take a moment to just really appreciate the time you just spent working on yourself. And slowly, with closed eyes, come back to a seated cross-legged position. Bring the palms together at the heart and rub the palms together, starting to create positive energy. Generate those good feelings and slowly just go ahead and spread that feeling around the body. Give yourself a little hug if you want to. And again, rub the palms together, generate that positive energy. And go ahead and put the palms over the eyes. And slowly open the eyes. Drop the palms in that prayer position down to the heart. Thank you for joining me today. Have the best day. Bye.